Hey y'all. Okay, so I saw a video talking about where someone got their name from and the history of names, and I thought it was really cool. One, to share what I know, um, because names have a lot of different things going on with them, and to talk about the progression and when it's time to either change your witchy name or grow past your witchy name. So, what I was taught, and this is the way a lot of witchcraft stuff happens, is it goes from one person and teaches another, and then it sometimes gets morphed and gelled into a different thing. What I was taught was originally, now we have to go back to original, which is, we'll go anywhere from late 1800s, I may even take it in 1700s, into the late 20s, 30s, and 40s during the occult movement, and then, of course, into the 50s, the early days of Wicca, and 60s, was that you had a craft name. The reason for that was not only to protect you, but also to protect Coven. Because the problem was that, let's say, a Coven member gets upset or aggravated and they go public and start pushing your name out there, you could lose your job, you could lose your home, you could lose your children. There are cases and cases of this. And if we go far back, you could actually lose you. We have witch burnings literally up until World War II. We had witch trials. So your craft name was supposed to be a secret name used between you and your coven mates. That's one version of it. Second version, names have power. If someone knows your name, they can use your power. So, and that's where people get into this, well, you have to know their craft name or you have to know their real name to cast a curse on them. Please, honey. Facebook and social media nowadays will give you enough information that you can cast a curse on anybody if you've got time for that. And I'm going to make a video about cursing because I hear too much crap about it. I'll put my spin on it. Now, and the thing with the name thing is, and it depends on the tradition, some traditions took acts from the New Testament. Yes, I know we're witches, but the New Testament does have some credence and some additives, and you'll see other things in the Bible. And that's why I call the Bible one of the biggest spell books ever. But there is a line from one of the enchantments that says, "Those that believe in my name." Okay? So those who believe you have power, doesn't matter whose name, we're not saying God or Jehovah or Jesus or Mary, believe in your name, believe in your power, gives you right or authority to do some things. So I've heard that used. And then we look at Romney tradition. Romney tradition, technically a person will have 3 names. Well, 4 if in certain segments. The first name was the name between the mother and the child. This is only used between the mother and the child. It's considered a secret name. The second is the name between you and your tribe or your people. This is the Romney name. The third is considered your English name or your legal name or the name you use on your documents. The fourth, in some instances, is the name you are baptized under. Yes, some Romneys still get baptized. Yes, it was part of tradition. You'll probably see a lot of documentation of Romneys being baptized multiple times because what happens, and it happens a lot in magical communities too, if you look at your history of where you're you will see things like rosaries, parts of lore, whatever, is going to come from multiple segments. This is why here a lot of things get tied in, and it depends on what you take. So you have to take your source or what feels right to you. So, well, that'll be fun. I always love throwing a little bit of fire once in a while. But let's not burn a witch tonight. Okay. So, a lot of people ask where my name comes from. My name comes from my grandmother looking at my mother, on her wedding day, and then you're going to have a son. Mom's like, okay. Now, Mama is a Baptist. She was raised Baptist. She doesn't know any of this. At this time, my grandmother was a nice Pentecostal lady who has tea with the ladies and writes for the ladies' circle. This was her cover story. It was her cover story till she died. It's still her cover story. But anyhow, so mom and dad were married, and every time grandmother would get upset, she'd go, "You're just going to have a son. Watch me. Watch it. It's going to happen. Oh, you're pregnant. You're going to have a son." So, mom goes to have me. She decides to name me. My grandmother doesn't agree with it. So that's all she ever called me was a son. And then I went to live with my grandmother because of some life things. And literally that became my name. And, I use that name, and it is my name as far as anything and everything. Aeson, Aeson. But that wasn't my original craft name. When I was first initiated, my original craft name was Lord Gravestone. And in some of my books of shadows or other early pagan writings, it's signed Lord Gravestone, still keeping the two separate worlds. Then when I joined a different group, I was initiated as Lord Raven Knight. I wanted to keep the Knight name going on. And then moving forward, I left that group and began working with another group, and I decided to forget this. I am tired of trying to remember who calls me what and which name to use when. So I just combined it all to Lord Aeson Raven Knight. Done, over with, an easy signature. Your names progress as you progress. I don't know how many initiates that have come to me and said, I want to be Amethyst Drags. I want to be Amethyst this. I want to be Amethyst that. And then 10 years later, they come along and go, hi. And I'm like, hi, how are you, Amethyst? And they're like, oh, I've renamed myself, and it's a more meaningful name. And it depends on the tradition you're in. Some tradition, the high priestesses name you, or high priest, depending who your initiate is, which that's what happened with my first, is, Lord Gravestone came from my high priestess. Others, you choose your name. Others that are sitting solitary may even choose to use numerology to find their name, but it's yours. I do believe that you should have a name that's between you and your god, or goddess, or spirit, or being, or whatever. That's just that. That way you can find that credence there and have that comfortability. So yeah, there's a lot of power in names. There's a lot of use in names. There's a lot of names for a lot of people that have multiple names. And what I find really cool now is I can tell from when someone knows me and from when they don't. All right, y'all. I hope you found this interesting. I hope it kind of cleared up some things. I'd love some questions in the comments or some thoughts in what you've been told. So until then, have a great day. Bye, y'all.